And now, if you can't tell, I bought a lot of sneakers this year. This is going to be the year in review of my top bought sneakers of 2019, coming up right after this. Are the Nike Hyper Adapt. I have literally worn these things like the Hyper Adapt. I think came out early beginning of this year, like around March. Now there was a lot of hype around this shoe because it was the kind of the second self lacing shoe. If you remember from a few years ago, they had the Earl, which was the self charging, also self lacing shoe. This was the more kind of cheaper version because the Earl still was $750, and this one was a little more reasonable at $350. It comes with a charging pad, and this one I think the reason why I put this on the list is because the technology by itself. It is not an overall good shoe, but the self lacing technology and the way you can change the colors on the side, and you also have an app that you can change the colors and tighten it left or right. I think is a reason to put it on there because Nike's always being very innovative in all their products and their shoes, and I just thought this. Number 9, the MCA Virgil Abloh. Now, these were extremely limited, extremely hard to get. There never really was a really realistic release date. They dropped sometime like around May or June. Now, MCA stands for it was for the Museum of Chicago Art, if I'm not mistaken. That's basically what the MCA was for. Now, like these dropped in June, and they were I think retailed at 150 or 170, but the resale on these is through the roof. They're almost at like $2,000. I just got lucky and grabbed me a pair for retail. But I think to me they were just an okay shoe. I don't think they're $2,000. They're way too hyped. It's really just a basic kind of Smurf like almost shoe. But like I said, it put a different spin on the Air Force Ones. This is a kind of unique color, and like I said, Virgil always remixes and does things in his own image. And like I said, this was a cool shoe, but I wouldn't pay $2,000 for it. That's not a $2,000 shoe, if you ask me. But it is a top shoe of the year. So this one is going to be number 9. This is going to be the first 3 of the shoes that I have on Travis Scott that I have of Travis Scott's shoes are on my list for this year. He had a great year this year, especially in shoes. And I had a great year in getting his shoes for retail. I got this shoe and the Air Force One off of Nike sneaker app. And I just, like I said, I got lucky. I was just like, wow. Because I really wasn't as crazy for this shoe. But then I was just like, if you can get any, Travis Scott for retail, you kind of have to go with that one. But this was one of his many shoes that he had come out this year. This was the Jordan 6 Cactus Jack. Now, the thing that a lot of people liked about, I think the things that a lot of people liked about this shoe were the colors. I think this orange, I'm assuming this olive, but kind of still had the infrared in it. I thought this was dope. And now this came out a few months ago, and it retailed for $250. Now the resale on this it's not as much, but it's going between like $600 and $700. Now I think this was kind of a different spin on the Jordan design. I liked how the subtle things he added, kind of like with the big pocket on the side and the glow in the dark sole. This is definitely I think it's number 7. So like I said, it was a retail shoe. I got it for retail. You kind of had to put this on the list. It was kind of one of the more hype Travis Scott's of the year that I had seen come out next to the Jordan 1, of course. So yeah, this was my number 6 choice is the Air Max Susan. Now this is to me this is probably one of the best Air Maxes to have ever come out, if you ask me. I just thought this was a dope shoe. Now, as you guys know, I'm a huge movie critic and movie lover. So anytime a shoe can come out and do both the movie that I love and I didn't love the movie, but if a shoe can come out towards a movie that I'm going to see and it has that theme, I'm all about themes, as you guys know. So to me, this was the Air Max 1 Susan. I think this is probably one of the best Air Max 1s to have ever come out. I think as far as the detailing that they got into the shoe. Now, I brought the box out. I didn't bring the box out for mostly any other shoe because most of the other boxes are kind of just plain. But to me, everything about this shoe was just, it stood out, kind of from like the, like I said, the box to the wrapping paper. We got the Nike receipt here. But basically, this was the from the movie The Missing Link. And The Missing Link told the story of a Yeti trying to find his long lost people. And so, and also it starred Hugh Jackman, Zach Galifianakis, Selma Hayek. But to me, this shoe was just dope because basically it took implements from the character's clothing. So he wore like a gingham print, kind of tacky gingham print outfit his whole rest of the whole movie. And I love how they had the gingham print in the front with the leather and the canvas and the corduroy and the suede in the back. To me, like I said, this shoe just stood out, and the leather around the mid guard of the shoe. I like, even in, they went to the details of the very front part where it has Nike Air Max. They scratched out Max and put Susan, and on the tongue it's leather instead of canvas or nylon material. Like I said, they went all premium with this shoe. So like I said, this is one of my favorite shoes of the year. Most definitely my favorite Air Max. So like I said, I know a lot of people slept on the shoe and kind of weren't feeling it, but it retailed at, I think this came out, I want to say like around March. It retailed at 170. Now you can probably get these right now. I don't think they're reselling for that much. It probably went down from like 270 to probably about 300 or 400. But like I said, to me, dope shoe. Like it just sticks out, and it's hard to match stuff up with this. That's why I probably don't wear it a lot like I should. But this is probably one of my favorites. Like I said, it was kind of Travis's year, and this was the second shoe that I got of his shoe this year, and I got it for retail. I really wasn't a fan of the shoe, but then again, I got it off Sneaker app for retail, and I was gonna sell it, but the selling price really wasn't really. I mean, I would have made a little profit on it, but like I said, I really don't sell shoes, but I really, I get them to review. But then I got the shoe in the hand. I started realizing kind of how dope this shoe really kind of was, and how a lot of people weren't giving it the credit it deserves. The things I liked about this shoe was it was retail, I think, at 170. The resale on this right now was kind of going between like 400 to about 600, maybe even less. Like the selling price, the reselling price on this isn't that high. But I love the things that I loved about the shoe is that basically they brought in elements of what Travis Scott's childhood. Basically, the materials that they use in the shoe are materials found like a worker jacket that he would help in Missouri City, Texas. It was like his hometown, and basically they kind of took implements of a worker jacket from like when he would help his grandmother, stuff like that, working in the yard and stuff like that. That's why you have the corduroy, the suede, the nylons, the leather, kind of materials you'll find in like a work jacket. So like I love things like that. And this shroud, like the shroud can come off. I leave the shroud on. I think it's dope that way. It's just different elements of the shoe, like of corduroy, leather. The little pop strap. I thought this was a dope shoe, and to me, I don't feel like getting the box, but the box was pretty dope too, with blue and how it rolled out. So, but this most definitely was one of my favorite shoes of the year. Travis just seems to be on a roll with me. Now, to me, I thought this was going to be my personal shoe of the year. When I first saw this image, I was kind of hating on it. Like I really didn't like the Jordan Air Force One, and then it kind of grew on me, and I kind of getting the hype. And I started getting the hype behind it because that reverse swoosh to me at first I didn't like it, but then I started loving it. I'm like, damn, this shoe is dope. Now this shoe came out very beginning May or June. Yeah, that's when this came out, and it was retail of 175. It was kind of worth all the hype. It came with five, like I said, it came with five different shoestrings, like with the secret pocket. Like people were going crazy over the shoes. Now, it was a good and positive about the shoe is like no shoe looks the same. Like Nike kind of dropped the ball with this shoe, as far as quality wise, because you'd have three different shoes and they all look different. Like no one could really tell like a fake from a real one. So that was the only bad thing I will say about this shoe. You know what I'm saying? So, but most definitely like one of the top shoes of 2019. It was number one, number three, and number four on a lot of people's lists, but it's not all the way to the top on my list. Not this year. Now, this to me is probably one of the best shoes of the year. Cactus Plant Flea Market is a basically kind of is a kind of really high end retailer. They kind of sell like these crazy different clothing with these kind of crazy smiley faces on there, and they're expensive. Like I think sweatshirts usually $200-300 or even more. And they teamed with Nike to bring out a women's exclusive shoe, which I was able to get in a size 12, and to me this kind of just exploded. Like I kind of wanted to get it for retail, but then I wasn't able to grab it, and so I got it later. And when I got it in hand, I was just like, this shit is so different. Like, and a lot of people don't like Vapor Max, but like, so I'm not a huge fan of Vapor Max, but the quality that they used in the colors in this kind of made this whole shoe pop. It was like Armor Fatigue green, but on the other side it was the light green, and then they had the kind of rubber band almost ish Nike swoosh with different colors, and like the Just Do It on this side and the white, and the Just Do It on this side and the black. It just it just to me this shoe just kind of stands out in the crowd. It got a 3M on the shoelaces, and the shoelaces is more of a rope. So this is most definitely like one of my favorite shoes of the year. It was a women exclusive. It was retailed at 250, and the reselling after this is like almost like between 800 to almost 1,000 or more. The bigger you get, for like men. And they did go up to like a size 15, if I'm not mistaken. But they're so expensive and so hard to get. But the Cactus Plant Flea Market's, bam, easily one of my top favorite shoes of the year. And my number two, or I guess on the list, this shoe that came absolutely out of nowhere. I had no plans of buying into the hype of this shoe, but this is the Bodega No Bad Days from Bodega, who is a boutique in Boston and LA, who teamed with New Balance to make this incredible shoe. This it was so much hype around this shoe. I remember trying to get this shoe, and it sold out so quick. The Bodega website crashed and everything. Now they had another rendition that they did. This was No Bad Days and No Days Off. The No Days Off to me is what kind of put this shoe on a precipice, because the No Days Off shoe is still sitting at almost $2,000 for a size 10. Why on earth? I do not know. Just you never know how the sneaker hype goes. But the rendition that they used, to me, kind of propelled this shoe, and I like this shoe a lot better. And for some reason, it confuses me on why this shoe didn't get a lot of play that it should have. I thought this shoe was way better than the last shoe, but apparently not everyone else. Like, you can get this shoe. The shoe was retailed for 120, if I'm not mistaken, and the resale at one point was like $500-600, but it's down to almost two. It's almost at retail. But to me, I just love the different textures they've had in the shoe. What they had the suede, the leather, the mesh, and they had the different shoestrings. I used to have a purple and a teal one. I like shoes that stick out. And to me, like this shoe, it's a clunky looking shoe, but it's a dope, and it is so comfortable. Like, I kid you not, this is one of the most comfortable shoes that I have next to the Presto, next to the one I have on right now. This is so comfortable. So this is most definitely, like, it was a sleeper shoe. Like, I didn't expect this to rise up to my favorites of the list, but I guess this would be my number two favorite shoe of the year. Now for the number one. Now, these are the LD Sakai waffles. Now, this Complex actually had this as number one shoe of the year, and so do I. Kind of just like the last shoe, just like the Bodega. I think this shoe to me stood out because it had so many different materials. Like, we weren't as immersed with all these different array of colors, such as the blue, the red, and kind of like the materials they use with the mesh, the suede, the leather, and the extended back. It's got that Japanese sandal style, and basically to put two shoes in one, like the LD runner and the Sakai, the runner and the waffle together to make this shoe. It was just dope. And then these shoes are very comfortable as well as their eye catchers. And I end up getting the pine green colorway as well. Now, like I said, it did retail I think for 150 or 160, and like I said, at the time they were reselling for almost 2,000 at one point. But the resale prices has gone down. You can probably get a new pair almost for like $500. And kind of with the pine green, it wasn't as hard to get. So, but these are I think still going between like 400 or 500, if not even cheaper. So, but to me, like the LD Sakai waffle was shoe of the year. Without a shadow of doubt, this was the best shoe. So guys, drop me some comments. Let me know what you guys thought about my list. What are your favorites? What shoe did you not see? I can't get them all, unfortunately. Hopefully, I'll be around for another 2020 coming up, and hopefully next year I can give you another list of part 2. This is part 1. No, excuse me. This is part 2. So it's my second year going on YouTube. So hopefully number 3 will be even better with more subscribers, better shoes. You can never have enough shoes. So, like I said, guys, have a great year. Have a great Christmas. And as always, Mr. Movie X Hicks is out. Drop me those comments, guys. And please hit that subscribe and give me a like if you like what you saw.